Now I would like to move on to our next speaker. We have with us Mrs. Yulia Stark, or Julia Stark. In this part of Europe, we will call her Yulia. So Yulia, welcome. She is the president of the European Women Association, and until 2009, she was a private banker. So you can imagine she was dealing with these investment portfolios of her wealthy clients, I guess. But then the financial crisis unfortunately hit, and I can freely say that this really had an effect on her business, I guess. But like in any other contrast in life, it was the same with this one. It ended one chapter of life, but started a new chapter in your life, I guess, Yulia. So you've changed your business career, not only establishing new businesses, but also introducing new philosophy in doing business. And one of the things that she's very passionate about is work-life balance. And that's how in 2013, this unique Feminism and Business Academy was born. So this is an academy that supports women entrepreneurs to start and run their businesses, but in a mindful way. And as of 2020, she's gathering professionals, organizations, and other stakeholders around the European Women Association, focusing on many things, but I would emphasize three important aspects that they're doing in their operation, and that is supporting women in access to funding, number one barrier for women entrepreneurs, mentoring, also mentioned by Emily, the importance of mentoring. We really have to work on it, and networks, access to networks. So this is very much in line with what Amélie emphasized in part of her presentation: participate and get involved. And European Women Association is supporting women entrepreneurs in that regard. But I will leave that to Julia to present it, because I'm very confident that she can share more information about that, and also to tell us a little bit more on how we can progress better by slowing down. So Julia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Gabriela. I think you did my presentation.
No.
No, but very well said. Thank you. And yes, every word that Emily was sharing, yeah, I would like to support as well, because as Gabriela said, my background is in private banking. I was the only female and the youngest female. So already by then I experienced the challenges many of my female colleagues faced. So yes, financial crisis hit, and quite hard. And maybe, you know, I remember the Coopting Bank. I used to work for an Icelandic bank, and this was an experience by itself. So this is where you learn during the crisis about resilience, about mindset, about well-being. And now we are back 10 years later in a similar situation when the crisis hits. And again, we are challenged to think differently. So this year, in the last 10 years after my banking career, I've been working on acceleration program for female founders. Later, together with Google and Women Will programs, we made sure that we support women internationally, starting in Brussels, then in London, to inspire them, to show them role models, how you can become and start your own business. You don't have to be a unicorn. You don't have to be a millionaire. It's not about that. It is about the impact. And this is, like, in short, just a snapshot of what we've been doing for the last 10 years. Yearly, we'll be organizing international conferences in London to empower and reward women from different categories with beautiful awards. And we've been supported by the best companies. They are Google, Deloitte, Facebook, MasterCard, Microsoft, because also they see the importance of female leadership in corporate, but also in entrepreneurship. Well, I'm based now in Belgium. I don't travel that much, but once a year, we take our tribe and we travel to Bali. Why Bali? Because this is the place where we don't talk only about our business canvas or about the business plan and the numbers and the funding. We also slow down to see, all right, but what about my family? Do I see my kids? Am I present as a woman and not only as an entrepreneur? So a very interesting process of acceleration programs. And now with European Women Association, we mainly focus on mentoring, as Gabriela said, because we do need that. We need to learn to ask for help. We need more role models. That's why I really hope more women here on this call will share their successes. And for example, working with Google, we've learned there is a program, and it's called #IamRemarkable. Please go on LinkedIn, check it out. It is a program that empowers women to share their successes, to share more why they are good in what they are doing. and write that down once in a while. Because Google did the research, and apparently, like Amélie said, women don't take the positions. They don't really go for it because they wait till they know everything. And then we've got guys, our colleagues, they will go even if they only have 60% of the skills. So Google is saying now, let's not forget to remember one thing. It's not bragging if it's a fact. If you're great, if you're talented, it's not bragging. Please share more because other women need to see your skills. And then networking. Networking is, I think that's why we supported and joined WeGate. Networking now even more important than before pandemic. Having these connections, international connections, is very, very important because we do support each other with different organizations. And that's why European Women Association was founded, more to see how can B2B collaborate and support our communities and tribes. And then, of course, funding. Yes, my banking, I have a banking background, but again, now I mainly focus on collaborations with business angels. And we do that through the World Business Angel Forum, where we have around 96 countries collaborating and investing, and they do look for female founders, they do. But again, we are not always that visible. So now we are connecting every partners through our membership platform. But again, it's a work in progress. Before that, it was all offline. We had to move online, we have to pivot. Challenging though, and that's why I come to this most important topic is mindfulness in times of crisis. And it has nothing to do with spirituality or religion. I'm talking really about science. I'm talking really about why you need to become more mindful of your thoughts. Because what we've seen in the last 6 months, I've been approached by different accelerators, organizations, and quite successful entrepreneurs saying that they're losing focus. They don't have the creativity. There's something wrong with them. They don't know where they're going. And different studies have been showing that the reason why we don't have the focus is because of the cortisol, the stress level in our brain that actually triggers us to survive instead of think clearly. So stress doesn't really help you to pivot your business, doesn't really help you to build something sustainable, because we are too often in this survival modus. And my invitation for you today is just, first of all, invite you to tap into your feminine energy or feminine emotional intelligence. Why? Just look at the evolution. So we have different revolutions in the last few hundred years, all led by linear thinking and technology. And as we know, mainly led by men. And there is nothing good or bad about that. I just want to show you that it's our time, because we had the first industrial revolution, we had the steam invented and the trains. Then 100 years later, we had electricity. Then we had, finally in the 90s, we had the computers, again, bright men sitting down, having all these algorithms, and it was very needed and it was great. And then we had, now we can call it, we are in the fourth industrial revolution, where we have this artificial intelligence and technology moving so fast, and because of pandemic, even faster than before. And what we've seen that most of technology is quite linear thinking, and a lot of things can be automated right now. But what computers or technology cannot replace is the emotional intelligence we women, most of us, naturally have. Something that was evolved in the few 100,000 years. And this is something we really need to tap into, because now working, connecting, collaborating, training, mentoring, this is something we are very naturally good at. And I'm talking about statistics right now. We do have exceptions, but just now realizing that your emotional intelligence is needed much more than any other skill, technical one that you may think. So why now being mindful? Well, again, this is not something new. Over 5,500 years, people have been mindful about the thoughts and the way they're living. Since 1960s, over 1,500 scientific studies proved the benefits of becoming mindful, how that actually releases stress. And many of Silicon Valley companies, or even our partner Deloitte, they have meditation rooms where you can go and meditate for 15 minutes during the working hours. And why is that important is because most of our results, let's just take as example, the professional results, they are results of our thinking, right? But if you just realize that there are around 50,000 thoughts a day in average, 80% of them are negative. This is how our mind is wired. And 95 are repetitive, 88 unconscious. So are not my numbers. It's Scientific Institute that published them in US, but it's just for us to become aware that our thoughts do lead to certain actions, and becoming aware of our thoughts. And that's why I said, slow down, you will progress even faster professionally, as an example, will help you to take distance from stress or any negative emotion that's happening with most of us right now. So slow down, you'll progress even faster. How exactly we will do that? This is like a chart, what happens in your brain. And there is a book, an amazing book written by Stephen Kotler, and it's a best-selling book, and the name is Stealing Fire. He writes about science behind flow in your brain, because most of the creative, amazing stuff happen when you're in a certain mental state of flow. The reality is that 90% of our time, we are in the beta state of our brain waves, meaning there's a lot of activity, a lot of peaks and downs, and it's more about short-term achievement, just getting things done, having your kids, getting them ready to school, having a business meeting, another Zoom meeting. We are most of the time in our brain in a beta state. This is not where magic happens. Magic scientifically happens when we are in the alpha, at least, state of mind, meaning when your brain activity is a bit slower, when the blood flows goes both in the left and right brain hemisphere, and there is more connection. And then suddenly you get answers to the challenges you've been facing in the last weeks or months. So my invitation for you to slow your brain, we'll do it, I'll show you in a minute how, but once you go into alpha or theta state, you produce dopamine, serotonin. It's all the happy hormones that help you think more creatively and solution driven, and not only from the survival point of view. The numbers you see, 7 to 12, is actually the age of children. Between 7 and 12, children are naturally in the alpha state. From 0 to 7 years old, they're in the theta state. Now, when we are adults, you can measure your theta waves when you're in a deep meditative state. Most of us are not there. And then we got delta. This is when you just snore and sleep. So we don't want to go there, but try to go during the day into your alpha state, because again, science has shown that actually helps you to get answers done, or get the answers for the challenges you are facing in this pandemic. Another step towards being more centered and less stressed and more mindful is when you're in the state of flow, you activate creativity. And aren't all crises, in a way, a good opportunity to have a creative solution to your challenge you're facing right now? And how can you actually trigger flow and creativity? You know already what I'm just saying right now. Just try to practice it during the week, is get physical activities. And again, something you like, all right? It can be yoga, it can be jogging, walking, dancing. I love to dance. It looks very strange when I'm in my office, but it does really help. Create something, like literally. We are quite busy, I know. But creating something, it can be painting, making, cooking, baking, whatever, because that again brings you from your mind into your body. Spend time outside, oxygen, again, very well for your brain. Morning rituals, whatever that may be, just don't take your cell phone or whatever your news on, because that again releases too much stress hormone and doesn't really help you to start your day from a creative perspective. By the way, morning ritual is having a cold shower. Science said that you actually detox your brain and your body by having a 30-second cold shower. Just try that out. Activate your 5 senses. You know that, again, if you eat, please be mindful how it tastes, how it smells, and breathe mindfully. Because we all know how to breathe, but we all breathe quite superficially. Just if you will feel it right now, you will be not breathing fully with your belly. And that sends a signal to your brain that there is a danger. if you're not breathing fully. And that always, again, produces this cortisol hormone, stress hormone, saying you need to be careful and need to survive. And this is not the reality. You don't need to survive every minute of the day. So please, by breathing, and I literally just put a reminder in my cell phone every hour to breathe for 1 minute. It would be just like a reminder, breathe. And I'll just stop with everything. I will breathe for 1 minute. Girls, it's not easy, but it does. After a few days, you will feel the difference. Please try it out. I'm not asking you to do much, but again, that's science. I didn't invent that, but it really, really works to reactivate your brain and use it positively. And then again, clarity comes through imagination. Several researches have been done that if you don't know how to get somewhere from point A to B, you don't know the steps, you just start to see, to feel it, and use your 5 senses. Meaning your brain is quite smart. If you're here and you want to get there, you don't know how, but you visualize vividly, like it's your dream, like in your dreams, you do that automatically, by the way, where you are going. You know that your brain builds the neural connections and the steps to get there. Very strange. It's called actually the reticular activating system, the RAS. You can Google it. It's just such a cool process of your brain that actually it serves you like a focus. There is so much going on, but again, it doesn't always serve you to get professionally where you want to be. So by really making time and seeing and feeling, understanding why you want to be in a certain point of view, your brain will fill in the gaps. I don't have much time to really discuss about the study that has been done about that, but I can always share it with you later. And the last thing to remember, ladies or gentlemen, I'm not sure who's on the call, don't forget it's 80-20. And by 80, I mean 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. I've seen in the last 6 months that most of the business owners, female founders that I work with, they're really focusing on the 20% of the technical part. Like, okay, how do I monetize? How do I build my e-commerce? How do I use targeting? But actually it's focus more on the 80%, because that will help you to stay focused. That will help you to stay in a sane state of mind to find the solutions if you don't have them. You become much more resilient and much more result oriented if you focus on the first well-being of your mind, the way you start and think and feel, and the 20% becomes much more easier through mentorship or to asking for help. You don't have to, again, like Amelie said, to do everything by yourself. I think my 15 minutes are up, ladies. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just search for my name. I would love to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Yulia, for sharing this presentation with us. And it was quite inspirational, considering that many studies shows that focus is a tool for creation. So where your focus is that where you're heading. So if you cannot focus right, you will not get those 20%. So as you mentioned, this is science. It's about wiring, but also rewiring what's happening in our head. So for all habit, there is a new habit that can replace the old one, and we can move on. And this is emotional resilience is, I guess, not important only in this pandemic era, but in work-life balance in general. So we need to work on it. And I will start with the breathing part, definitely.
Easy, yeah.
And I'll share with you the results after a couple of days.
Please do. Thank you.